Hello and welcome. You know, the last days of 2017 are ticking away, and I just started a new commonplace book for 2018, and I thought it was a good time to inaugurate my new commonplace book with the responses to the YouTube confessions tag. I was tagged for this activity by Medieval Reader. I have my fireplace, my holiday fireplace going on in the background with my Christmas tree and my Christmas lights on the mantle. It doesn't give awful lot of heat, but it's nice to look at, and it crackles and makes nice noises. So let's get to the responses. All right, number one, how many hours a week do you spend editing and filming? So typically not a lot of time filming and editing because I typically do a lot of book chats and opera chats, but mostly book chats. And I use sort of a conversational style, and so I typically do not edit book chats. Of course, if I do need to edit, it will take longer. It does take about 3 to 4 hours, I would say, to get the content. After I finish a book, I go and I review the book again. I review the notes that I took when I was reading the book and the highlights. I give it some thought about how I want to present the book in the book chat and what I want to accomplish or what I want to make sure and mention during the chat. I don't create a script, but I do create that sort of outline in my mind about what I'm going to say about that book. And the whole process, probably of start to finish, from the time I start that planning all the way until the time the video is uploaded, probably takes around 3 to 4 hours typically, I would say. So number two, are you a spender or a saver? I am definitely a saver. I am quite frugal, I think. My partner, my spouse, on the other hand, is more the spender. So I think we make probably a pretty good balance. Probably he keeps me from being quite the spendthrift cheapskate that I normally would be, and I might balance a little bit of his spending to be a little bit more frugal. So I think we might balance each other out, but I'm definitely frugal for my channel. I just film on my laptop. I don't have any special lighting. You will see I move around a lot on my videos, and that's really to capture light. The different times of day and the different seasons even affect the place that I wind up doing the video, just really mainly due to light. So if I were to spend some money for my channel, I would probably buy some sort of lighting that I would be able to more or less standardize. But so far, it's been working to do it this way. Number three, who is your YouTube crush? YouTube crush. So I don't think, in the romantic sense, I don't think I have a YouTube crush in that sense. I might have some YouTube friend crushes, if we could call them that. Really, channels and YouTubers, booktubers that I feel like we would probably make pretty good friends if we lived around each other and knew each other in real life. So those kind of friend crushes, but I don't think a romantic YouTube crush. Number four. Who are your favorite YouTubers? So I don't like this term favorite, because I feel like I leave people out. It also, favorite sort of sounds like grouping in sort of order of quality or whatever. But I'll just name a few, YouTubers, booktubers that whose channels I really do enjoy and I do try to keep up with. One is the Medieval Reader, who tagged me for this activity. Medieval Reader reads a lot of books, French language, Renaissance and medieval works, as well as other sorts of books that I don't normally run across, and so I really value her content because it's a lot of times it's stuff that I haven't seen ever elsewhere. So I value that. BiblioAtlas is another channel that I follow. She's a true book explorer. BiblioAtlas, the books she reads, she really dives deep into them, and I think she makes an effort to connect them to other ideas and other things, and so I value her content. Richardson Reads, I follow his channel quite closely. So he's a true book lover, has an extensive book collection, and does a lot of shelf tours. And I think he and I share a lot of reading, or similar reading history, as well as similar reading interests. Although it's different enough that I do learn a lot from his from his channel, and I think I can probably thank his bookshelf tours for adding the most books to my want to read list for 2017, and I am behind on watching his shelf tours, so I anticipate more books coming on my want to read list from those videos when I get around to watching them, which I will. Other channels, Paper Bird. I enjoy his style of presentation. He really focuses on the book, and he's got a really kind of fun, I think, engaging style of how he presents his content. And his books are often books that I have not heard of or have not seen elsewhere, so I appreciate that. CR Flames fan, she and I share, I think, a lot of share a reading taste. I think probably she and I could probably switch out our libraries and find lots there that we would enjoy reading. So I follow her channel quite closely. Book reviews from Peg. Peg does a lot of book reviews around books that are either nominated for or winning awards, other new kind of works. And so I don't follow the awards that closely, so I appreciate it when there are those who do and then present them to me so I can keep up with it too. She also has, I enjoy her style of presentation of her books that she reads as well. So yeah, I'm probably leaving people out, but I think those are some. Oh, Run Right Reads. I want to mention her channel. She's a very eclectic reader, and she has very insightful, I think, reviews. So I enjoy hearing about the books that she reads as well. There are others, but those off the top of my head are just a few that really that I'll call out as being channels that I really do try to keep up with. Okay, Number 5, how long do you spend getting ready every day? Literally maybe 20 or 30 minutes. I'm one of these lucky people that gets to work from home. Most of the time I do have to travel a bit for work, but when I'm not traveling, I am working from home. So my weekday is typically pretty easy to get ready for work in the morning when you're working from home. Number 6, what's one thing you're excited about in the upcoming year? Well, I have started work on a nonfiction work, so I'm excited about that. I do have an outline for it. I don't want to share a lot about it right now, but I do have an outline for it, so I will be working on that through 2018. I'm extremely excited about that. For my channel, I want to reboot my Being Stoic series. You know, if you've seen my past Being Stoic, any of my Being Stoic videos, I was going chapter by chapter through the Discourses by Epictetus, sort of giving my take on them, and I am going to pick that back up for 2018 and get better about the Being Stoic series, and I'm going to really try to do this weekly, have a weekly installment of that. I'm going to really shoot for that goal. So Number 7, what's your most awkward filming moment? Well, like I mentioned, I don't typically edit my book chats, so they're just conversational, so I really try to mute my phone and such so that I don't get those kind of notifications, but sometimes I have forgotten to do that, and I have gotten text which ding or something like that. The other thing is I have a couple of dogs. I don't think they've ever made it on any videos. Well, maybe one of them made it on a very early video, but I have one dog in particular, Pete, who typically decides a lot of times when I'm filming that it's the time to get down and walk around on the floor with his claws on the floor, you can hear, or get a drink, or sometimes he coughs or something. So Pete is often right there by me when I'm filming, and sometimes he decides to get active during that point. So I would say those are my most awkward filming moments. Number 8, how are you dressed? Well, I typically wear a t-shirt and jeans. I mentioned before on my channel, I actually did a video on some book-themed t-shirts that I have. I do have a t-shirt collection, not just book-themed, but all sorts. This is actually a Moby Dick shirt, but so I'm wearing one of my t-shirts from my t-shirt collection. Even for work, when I'm traveling or going on site, I do have to go to research institutions and things quite often, and I will typically also be wearing a shirt from my collection underneath, maybe a dress shirt. I am on occasion forced to wear a white t-shirt, a plain white tee. That is the exception rather than the rule, though. Number 9, what are you most proud of in your life? Well, in my life versus in my channel, my life, I do work in oncology, early development oncology, biotech. And so over the years, for about the past 10 years, I have been focused really on oncology, and I've worked on some really pivotal things. I'm not a scientist, but I do have my little cog in the development wheel that I do, my little function that I perform. So I really am proud of some of the work that I've been involved with some therapies around HER2-positive breast cancer, multiple myeloma. Right now I'm working on some lung cancer stuff, and more myeloma, multiple myeloma. So I'm real proud of some of the work that I've done in that area. Number 10, what makes talking on the camera comfortable? Well, early on in my channel, I did adopt this conversational style, and I really geared it around the book. So like the book, I think of a person, early on anyway, I thought of like a person that I would be telling this book to, and that's how I would guide that's how I would choose what I was going to say about the book, because each person has comes from a different understanding level, maybe a different knowledge of the author or different knowledge of the work or knowledge of the genre. So I would often pick, and still do to some degree, I'll pick someone from my life that I know in real life, and that's who I'll have in my mind that I'm telling this book to, and that's how I'll choose, because there's lots of choices to be made when you're making a book chat video about the level that you want to, who's your audience. So I pick an imaginary person that I know from real life to be my audience, and that's sort of who I'm talking to. But I think the key to being comfortable in front of the camera is just to let yourself go and don't be self-conscious, and have that conversation with the person at the other end of the camera. Yeah, so number 11, what is your worst filming habit? My worst habit is definitely, I say too much. I was one of these teenage boys whose voice was weird for a couple of years, and I became very sort of self-conscious about it for a while. So when I was in college and in high school, I avoided speech and debate classes, like the plague. So I didn't get any really good formal speech training. I did overcome that shyness of speaking eventually, but early on, I didn't really get good, I think, presentation skills. So I do use the filler words like and whatever too much. So I am working on that. I do hope to get better about that in the future. So the next step on the tag is to tag other people. I know this tag has been around for a while, and so I'm not sure who all has done it and who all hasn't done it. If you haven't done this tag, I would love to hear your responses. So I'm going to just tag, I think just leave it an open-ended tag for anyone who's interested in doing the video to do it. And if you don't do videos, but you're a commenter and you want to leave me some comments about your responses to any of these questions, then feel free to do so. I'd love to see it. So I think I'll stop with that. Until next time, take care. Bye.